This game is the background character in an anime. It's the forgettable extra that just exists.
Yeah, and you're like, have I seen that before? Have I seen it? I'm not sure. Maybe.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, I'm Mike.
And I'm Kim.
And you're watching Tabletop Turtle.
Yes!
And today we are reviewing Scythe, spiritual.
No.
And today we're reviewing Expeditions, the spiritual successor to Scythe.
Exactly.
Yeah, Expeditions is a card-driven engine-building game that plays 1 to 5 players, designed by Stonemaier and published by Stonemaier Games. In Expeditions, players spend the game moving their mechs across a variety of different hexes to collect resources, acquire upgrades, complete quests, and various other tasks, all to gain as much wealth by the end of the game as possible. Players are mildly encouraged to explore, reveal new locations, and reveal new harvest actions. But each new revealed location will contain corruption, which essentially acts as the bad things you encounter in these areas. But don't worry, you can spend the 2 generic resources you acquire in the game to remove the numbered tiles. Oh, sorry, what I meant to say was that you use your cunning and guile to vanquish the vile corruption that blights this ravaged earth. The player who first completes 4 objectives initiates the end of the game, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most money is the winner. So what did you think about the theme of the game?
What theme? That's a theme?
All right, good, that's true. Moving on, let's get to mechanics.
All the actions don't feel representative of some kind of action you would take if you were actually doing an expedition or adventure. It's not strong.
It's advertised as a sort of sequel to Scythe, and like other reviewers have probably pointed out, it has nothing to do with Scythe whatsoever. The art, sure, but beyond that, almost nothing. This game is, it's such a shame because the art is so beautiful, but this game is just devoid of theme, and it most certainly doesn't capture the feeling of an expedition. I don't know what he thinks an expedition is, but this ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't it.
I guess maybe that's kind of like our opinion on it too. It's like, it doesn't have that same kind of highs and lows. We kind of compare everything to kind of like a movie or a story,
sure,
right? Yeah. Where you have like you have your main goal that's thrown upon you. That's your kind of like why you're even going on this expedition in the first place, and then to achieve it, it's like you go up this like uphill battle. Like
an expedition should be like, there's a bunch of winding paths and like dangerous things you encounter and obstacles you have to overcome. This game is like it's like a walk down a dirt road in a cornfield, and every path you choose just feels exactly the same as the path you were on.
Doesn't matter what tile you flip over.
It doesn't matter at all.
No, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. And there's no threat to revealing a new tile. Like, part of the excitement of exploration is the excitement that you don't really know what's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. That's the point of exploration. When you reveal a tile, you know what's gonna be there, more or less. And the threat are numbered cubes. They're just numbered boxes. That's the threat.
Okay,
and it doesn't hinder you at all.
It's
just
like a board game thing though. Cubes, cards, kind of like what you get. You can't really get like a little monster coming and attacking you.
Okay, but Lost Ruins of Arnak has a monster that gets revealed. The monster can be completely different. You don't know what it's going to be, and you don't know if you prepared for that monster or if you're not prepared for that monster. So there's dire consequences for encountering that monster.
Yes, we love that game.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying
that like this that game. But there are some mechanisms.
The feeling of adventure is all I'm comparing.
Exactly, and we'll get into this when we talk more about the gameplay and certain areas that we like and don't like about this game. Yeah. But there, like you mentioned, there isn't that excitement, and I think that comes from there isn't any real highs and real lows in this game.
No.
Everything kind of feels like, you're just like...
It's even keel. It's thematically boring as hell. And even that, like, when you explore and you go to a new land, you flip that land tile over. Because you only have 3 actions in the game, typically you'll be forming, it's 2. Move, play, gather. A lot of times you'll be moving to an area, right? There's one of your actions, and you'll be playing a card. So you don't really care what the land is underneath you. Because if it's something you don't want, you can just move again and gather somewhere else. Like, nothing matters. It doesn't matter.
Not that nothing matters, but I kind of get the idea that you don't have to kind of utilize what's on that tile. You can just move the tile and play a card. That's no relevance to the tile at all.
Yeah.
But it helps like mitigate like the luck-based aspect of like which tile you're on. You're going to play the card, you can still play. But at the same time, it just makes it like less exciting. I wish there were more like action specific to the type of environment. I don't know what to call like the tile stages, but there's nothing unique about where you are on the map versus things you can do.
I missed the part in every great adventure story where the primary purpose of the adventure was collecting tiny little cardboard exploration tokens. for almost no reason. Oh, sorry. No, not no reason. If you get 5 of them, you can have glory, but don't worry, you can also have 7 workers and that performs the same function.
But there's so many ways to complete these, like to put your start on like one of the 4 main objectives, that it doesn't feel like any of them is particularly special. To put an objective tile down, you don't have to go back to base camp. There is no thematic action that makes sense. It's just you just find a tile with a star on it to put a star down. And then you don't even get a reward for that. You complete an objective, okay, great, that's all. That's it. It doesn't feel very satisfying.
So we can cover some pros because there are mechanisms in here that are well.
Yeah, that's the part that's strong with this game.
The card play, I mean, that's the game is just a card game. At its heart, that's all it is. At its heart, all it is.
It's a good card game.
It's decent. It's a decent card game. You know, you play a card. You use a worker to activate the special ability underneath that played card, so you get even more bonuses from it. And then hopefully you're chaining cards with other cards. Like maybe the card that you played lets you activate the card to the left of the card you just played.
Those are good cards.
Those are good cards. Yeah, and some of that stuff's it's enjoyable. But the card play, it's not enough to carry the game. Okay, the quests. There's numbers on these quests, okay? And there's numbers on the tiles. And you have to go to the tile that corresponds to the number on the quest to complete the quest.
Which is like thematic-ish, because like the art on the quest card matches the art on the location.
It does. Yeah, it does.
That's the end of the match.
That's it.
That's a thematic.
There's no other reason that you know as to why you're going to the weird forest to
rescue a trapped
merchant.
Mercenary?
Okay, mercenary. It's like, yeah, it's kind of there, but previously Scythe had like a tiny little story it would give you and you could choose an option, which is fun. And I don't think it bogged down playtime.
People not like that? The people,
maybe not. You don't see it in a lot of games.
Some of the people they didn't include in this game and they call this what do you call it? The spiritual successor?
Yeah.
The core to your aim? Yeah, no, it definitely felt like lackluster. So maybe people didn't like it. We liked it.
It just feel like there was no connection in the quests in regards to where you go or what you do. Nothing makes more sense to repairing a damaged mech than spending 1 brawn. Okay.
Vessels.
Boom, mech fix. I spent a brawn. Yeah. The quests suck.
Don't you know repairing mechs don't involve any brains at all? You don't need any engineers. You just need someone that has some biceps.
Yeah, the quests are boring.
I really like the meteorites. The items, I like that the bonus actions were unique and like interesting. Like some of them were really interesting. Give you like it's pretty OP. Like this one's like whenever you gain a map, you may gain additional brain and rearrange your location's corruption. So like if you didn't have all the blue but you had orange, things that it's useful. It's really useful. The part I'm unhappy about is once you upgrade your item.
Mm-hmm. Once you slide the card and you perform the upgrade action, you slide the card underneath your thing.
There is no real bonus. All you get to do is use that ability
without spending a worker
permanently. Yeah. But normally, like as you're playing the game, you collect quite a few cards, so you normally already have a worker on that item.
Yeah.
So there's no bonus to upgrading it.
At least with the meteorites. So when you place a worker,
that was my point.
On the bottom of the card, you get that ability, right? Cool. But when you upgrade, it's just you don't have to spend the worker. It's exactly like you said. But at least with the meteorite, it's like a whole new ability that you unlock.
That's my whole point.
Yeah, that's related to the ability. Oh, okay, so good card play, I guess. There's our positive. Now back to the negative. There are too many boring actions in this game.
Mike is just a hater.
No, I'm not. I like Scythe. I like every other Jamie Stonemaier game that at least I know I've played.
Jamie likes good games.
Yeah, Tapestry, great.
Love Tapestry.
Scythe, great.
Viticulture,
great. These are all great games. Super
fun. Love my winemaking.
Yeah, that's right. But this is not a great game. This is a mediocre game.
Boring action.
The actions are boring. Like when you take a turn, nothing is thrilling. Like you might get the odd, you get some combos off, and that's kind of fun. But whatever you're going, whatever you're doing, I'm just not interested in it. Okay. For example, to complete a glory point, right? To get a glory point on the board, you've had to, let's say, for example, collected 7 of the blight tokens. Cool. But at some point, I collect those 7 blight tokens, and I feel that sense of accomplishment. That sense of accomplishment is there. I'm like, yeah, I did it. I got the 7 blight tokens. Oh, but now I have to go to this spot on the board where I have to actually claim the glory for this thing that I did. And I might do that like 2 turns later, and I don't care. It's bookkeeping. I'm just doing bookkeeping. I've done the great quest. I've accomplished the deed. Now it's time for me to go to this one random spot on the board and I don't journal it.
He's a millennial. He needs the immediate satisfaction, immediate gratification kind of thing.
No, but I'm saying you get that, but
I don't love it. I don't hate the fact that you have to go to the spot to claim your glory. Once you claim that glory, you put your star down. There is no instant reward, so that it doesn't feel like a sense of urgency to complete that quickly. It's one of those things where like the last game we played, I think I completed like 5 different endgame objectives.
Yeah.
I only had 1 star done, so I'm like, I'll do it later.
Well, there is a bonus in that your two main cards, your main person and then your pet that accompanies you.
The 2 character cards.
The more stars you have, you can get.
Only up to 2 stars.
Yeah, it is only up to 2.
So again, like it's only your character cards, not the other cards that you're collecting. So not your quests, not your items, not your meteorites. Only character cards. So in most games, I've had like 10 cards sitting out here at one point in time. Those 2 cards are not being played very often because the other, item cards, meteorite cards had better bonuses to solve and whatever the other word is, vanquish, I think, to remove those tokens.
Sometimes.
Right, they have better ability. So I wasn't using those character cards very often. So I didn't feel compelled to put my star on because there's no, for me, it felt like a waste of an action.
Yeah.
Right, and so I don't.
Speaking of wasted actions.
Great.
Speaking of wasted actions, the refresh action. I hate refresh actions. I hate
feeding workers,
feeding worker actions. I hate
a slave driver.
There's a reason you can make everything fun. Dwellings of Eldervale. Just steal what they did in this game. Just steal it. Dear developers, steal what they do in this game for all your games. When you refresh in Dwellings of Eldervale, you're still making interesting choices that go beyond simply choosing to refresh. Take your shit back, and then you get to choose what do you want to put on the cards, and you get like an extra layer of actions that you get to perform. Just steal from this. I don't like refresh actions.
Don't damage that box.
I'm not damaging bugs. And in this game, like every game I played, all of them, I would actively do my best not to refresh. Yeah, I understand the strategic advantage of refreshing sometimes because I get the joy of being like, oh, now I get to go and do all 3 actions. Hurrah!
That's the best part.
Hurrah! And Kim had mentioned earlier about the number of stars on the board, and I think there are. Okay, full disclosure, we've played about like a dozen games.
Oh?
Yeah.
Only 10, but
10 or 12. But yeah, we feel like there might be some balance issues. Maybe we're wrong, I don't know, but it certainly feels that way.
I feel it's unfair.
Yeah,
to me.
Okay. So let's start.
To me.
Going first. Typically in a board game, when you go first, there is a...
That's literally my point. I go last all the time in every game. This is not a gripe with board games, it's a gripe with Michael. Mike goes first in every single freaking game we ever play. And majority of the time, I don't mind. It's fine. It's whatever. He's selfish for first.
No, it's just a good way to teach you the game. Typically, it's a good way to teach the game because you can be like, look what I'm doing. I'm doing this because this.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Play the game 10 times. Did I do 10 times?
It doesn't matter.
I don't think so, but it's okay. Point is, normally when you go second or third or fourth, whatever it is, you get some kind of bonus, like a small incentive, or like compensation for going last, right? Not having the first pick at every turn. There's none. Absolutely none in this game.
No.
None at all.
You get nothing. It
just sucks.
And not only do you not get anything. Okay. So there's 2 spots in the early game where there are workers, and you can get those workers. Workers are really important. They're really important. Cards are important, yeah, but workers are super important. If you're playing with 2 players, you're fine because it's like you go to the WoW worker spot and I go to this work. But if you're playing with 5,
always.
Yeah, but if you're playing with 5 players and you're the last player, that sucks. That sucks. Because now it's like, well, okay, I guess I should probably just go and explore, get something I want. And then, but what you explore is something you don't really need. Like, oh, maybe you go and you explore and you get the one that lets you refresh out all your cards and you didn't even spend a card. Like, there's no advantage to going last. And not only that, but this game is I think Scythe does this too, where if you go first and you end the game, you get 1 more turn, which means
so everyone gets.
People don't get equal turns. People don't get equal turns in this game.
Yeah, whoever triggers the end game, everybody gets 1 more turn. But to me, it makes more sense if there's 1 more round for everybody versus if you're the first player, like you said.
Stupid. That's stupid.
Yeah. So
why? Why? The turns are your turn, and what you do in the game is The whole point of the game is to have fun. And if one player just has more turns than the other players, that's not fun. That's antithesis of fun.
It just feels unfair, right? It doesn't necessarily take away the fun, but it definitely feels unfair, which then, if you're not leading or winning the game, it definitely ruins the fun.
And
so and I think there's a lot of unfair errors in this game.
There's tons of luck in this game.
Yeah, there's some luck and unfairness.
The cards, there are cards that are just like so much better than other cards, but they're so similar. These are both, you're not gonna see them. So one's repair a damaged mech and the one's save a lost lumberjack, okay? They're both quest cards, okay? Both quest cards. Now one of them, the one that's better, does have one that requires some more advanced worker. It's the purple worker, but they're not that hard to come by at all. So in the lore, the one I would call a lower tier card, you gain a brain and then you get to rescue a card, okay? Rescuing a card is taking the cards from your played action and put them in your unplayed action.
So basically refreshing without using the refresh action.
Yeah, exactly. You put it in your hand, which is another stupid thing in the game, but that's fine. But the other card, the other one, okay, is you rescue all of your cards, all other cards. And when you rescue all those cards, which could be like 6 or 7 of them, if you rescue at least 3 of them, you get $3. That's 3 victory points. 3 victory points, rescue all your cards versus 1 intellect and rescue 1 card.
Doesn't feel very smart to me.
And it's the same classification of card.
Maybe it's because they expect you to be dumb and so you give you 1 brain.
Yeah, I don't know. There's lots of cards like that where you can look at some cards and like, that is significantly better than this card.
Yeah.
And in a card game where there's no, okay, sometimes in card games you have like a mechanic where, let's say through the ages, where it's way off to the right. So if you really want that new amazing card that just appeared, you pay for it. You pay through the nose for it. So if that card just happens to appear and it's the end of your turn, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it. And then on your turn, I'm sure a bunch of crappy cards will be there. Don't worry.
Yep.
Come on. I mean, I know that's kind of the nature of card games, but usually you try to do something to mitigate that. Like maybe the lesser cards provide more of something else. Picture this, 4-player game. You've done a bunch of exploration, but not everything. And you've only revealed 2, maybe 3 most spots where you can claim your glory. And it comes to the end of the game, okay? You could have players just sitting on those glory spots. So now you have a player who can't get to those glory spots. They can't claim victory points, and there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do about that.
Tile hog.
Yeah.
Space hog.
Yeah, I'll just sit on tiles sometimes. I mean, as much as you can, because you have to move eventually, but that's irritating. That's so irritating. So yeah, one of the things we would definitely say is don't bother playing this with more than 2 players, I think.
I'd say 3.
3?
3 is the max you comfortably can go, happily will go. After 3, it just feels really unfair.
Yeah. Adding more players adds nothing. It adds nothing to this game. It just, when you add more players to this game, it just feels like Costco on a Saturday morning. That's what adding more players to this game feels like.
The only part that I think could be better with more players is that you go through more tiles quicker, right? Because you're not able to
explore more stuff.
Exactly, you're not able to move past unexplored tiles. So you do go through tiles quicker, so more things open up.
And cards, I guess you'd see more cards in a higher player game.
And they open up earlier in the game, so there's more. You can plan a little differently, but the number of types of actions don't change. The number of actions don't really change.
No.
So it's not really any better.
Nope. And in terms of player interaction,
none.
Yeah, there's none.
Non-existent.
There's none. It's Sorry, it sucks. You have this giant mech. You're not gonna fight anybody. You're just like you have this giant mech, and you just kind of inconveniently get in the way of people. That's what your mech does. It's just an inconvenience to other players. So the thing that angers me about this game is that I would love it if it was a game that I really loved, obviously. But I'd also kind of love it if it was a game that I just freaking hated. I would love it if this game just instilled some sort of emotion in me at all, but it doesn't. And I think because it doesn't, that's what makes me angry. This game is just so dripping in mediocrity. It just feels so bloody average.
A year from now,
it angers me.
I don't think we remember this
You
game.
won't remember this game. You won't remember this game. It'll be one of those games that sits on your shelf in a year or 2 from now, and then you're like, oh, I forgot I owned that game. I thought it was Scythe when I walked past it because the art's the same. And then you're like, why do I own this game? It's just so mediocre. And that's why I think I give it, I want to give it a 5, but I don't think that's fair because some of the card play is pretty decent.
No, the 5 is based on what you have played and what you enjoy.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
If it's a 5 to you, it's a 5 to you.
For sure. I think though, I'd probably give it a 6. 5.5 to 6. Let's say 6. I'll say 6.
I would say it's a 5 to me.
Yeah.
It's a 5 to me because it's a game that I don't know. I feel like I said, it's mediocre. It's not great. So I definitely don't dislike it, but it's just disappointing and not satisfying to play. So for me, it's a 5 because it's a possible game to play, and there are some enjoyable mechanisms, but it's not an enjoyable game on a whole.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. I look forward to the future comments that'll let us know how we're wrong, and it'll be a little dissertation that they write.
I don't mind. I don't mind if you tell me why exactly you love it.
It's easy.
And there's some areas that the game is so unique, and I think it's something really important for us to all agree on as well, is that everyone prioritizes different areas of different games.
Exactly.
And how important that is for your enjoyability.
Some people love mediocrity.
And some
people like average.
Some people love no play interactions.
You gotta love average.
Some people love big variety of cards, and that to them is like gold standard of a good game. For me, those are not the most important things.
No. So yeah, sorry Stonemaier bros. Jamie, you can do better.
You've done so well with so many games.
Yeah.
Stop calling him son.
Yeah, he's like my son. He's playing a little league baseball game, and I'm so used to hitting him and just smacking home runs. And all of a sudden,
and so he comes home and we're like,
he just gets to first, and you're like, I guess that's good.
You just say, we're so disappointed in you. Shake your head, not yell at him, and then walk away, and then he'll be left stunned. And then you'll only get, I don't know enough about baseball to say, but like home runs from now on.
Yeah, so Jamie, if you watch this video, which you probably won't anyway, we do like most of the other games. We just think this game blows. Well. Yeah, that's it. Bye.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
See you in the next one.